Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Alex, and I'm here with Sarah, an IT recruiter. Today, we're going to delve into the differences between monolithic and microservices-based projects. Let's start with the basics. A monolith is like a giant, all-in-one software application. It's a single, tightly coupled unit. On the other hand, microservices architecture breaks down a system into smaller, independent services that communicate with each other. In other words, if all the functionalities of a project exists in a single codebase, then that application is known as monolithic application. Let's put these concepts into perspective with some real-world examples. In the world of monoliths, think of companies like Company A. They might have a large, single codebase that powers their entire application. A classic example is Product X, a robust and integrated software where all functionalities are tightly coupled. On the flip side, we have companies like Company B that embrace microservices. Consider their Product Y, where each feature or module operates independently. For example, the user authentication service, payment service, and recommendation service could all be separate microservices communicating with each other. Now, let's dive deeper into the challenges a company like JP Morgan might face with their monolithic system. Imagine JP Morgan decides to introduce a new feature, let's say, advanced financial analytics, in their banking application. In a monolithic setup, the entire codebase needs modification. So, the team working on this new feature has to navigate through the intricacies of the monolith. They might need to understand and modify not just the analytics component but also the tightly coupled sections like user authentication, transaction processing, and UI rendering, all in one go. This process is time-consuming and poses a higher risk of introducing bugs. Testing becomes more challenging, and deploying the new feature might disrupt existing functionalities. Additionally, when dealing with a monolith, scaling becomes an all-or-nothing affair. If JP Morgan experiences a sudden surge in user activity due to a market event, they can't scale only the transaction processing part or the analytics part independently. It's the entire monolith that needs to scale, which can be resource-intensive and inefficient. So, in summary, while monoliths have their advantages, making changes or introducing new features in such systems can be a complex and resource-heavy process.
So, why is it crucial for a back-end developer to have experience with microservices?
Great question, Sarah. Working with microservices allows developers to create scalable, flexible, and maintainable systems. It's especially important in large projects where different components can be developed and deployed independently. Microservices are often used when you need to scale parts of a system independently, have diverse technology stacks, or deploy updates without affecting the entire application. It's excellent for large, complex projects.
What technologies on a developer's resume suggest experience with microservices?
Look for skills like containerization with Docker, orchestration with Kubernetes, API gateways, and messaging systems like Kafka. These are strong indicators of microservices expertise.
And what about monoliths?
If a developer mentions skills like a single programming language, a large, tightly coupled codebase, and traditional databases without scalability considerations, it might suggest experience primarily with monolithic projects.
Alex, one more question for you. Do developers generally enjoy working with monolithic applications?
That's an interesting question, Sarah. The sentiment towards monolithic applications can vary. Some developers appreciate the simplicity of a monolith, especially in smaller projects. However, when a monolithic application scales up, it becomes too complicated to understand. So that means, the monolith application has become so complicated that no single person understands it. Developers often find this situation challenging and, at times, frustrating. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces keep multiplying, and you're not sure where each piece fits anymore.
So, it sounds like as the application grows, so do the challenges for developers in terms of understanding and maintaining it.
Exactly, Sarah. That's why, as projects become more complex, many developers lean towards microservices as a way to manage the intricacies more efficiently. In conclusion, both monoliths and microservices have their places in the software development landscape. However, as technology evolves, the industry is leaning more towards microservices for their scalability and flexibility.
Thanks, Alex, for shedding light on this topic. It's valuable information for both developers and recruiters.